From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It's Tuesday, November 14th, and right now on Good Morning Indiana.
Affirmation that myself and others, our voice matters and our opinion matters when it comes to development in our community.
Developers taking a step back after a number of calls to better reflect the site's history. What one local group says they want to see done to preserve Indiana Avenue. There may be a new way to get tested for COVID-19 without using a nasal swab. Only on WRTV, an inside look at how the new process works. And a local catering company is working together with its customers to feed families in need. How the effort got started and what you can do to help.
And here at 6 o'clock, we want to thank you for joining our team on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey, and my colleagues Todd Clausen and Rafael Sanchez joining me this morning. Gentlemen, good morning to you. Rafael, hope you're staying nice and dry and nice and warm down there at home in Johnson County.
Well, I'm going to stay dry as long as there's not a leak here in the living room. But I have to tell you, Lauren, that I can now tell, right, when it's much colder outside, the furnace is on. I have two big, giant heat lamps in front of me, Todd Clausen, and it still feels cool here in the living room.
You know, it's going to be that time of year, especially wait till you see my 7-day planning forecast, Rafael. Some 20s in our future for the morning hours. Not today, though. Not today, though.
Slow down. Slow down.
Not today, and that's key because this morning we do have some precipitation out there, but with temperatures above freezing. For the most part, this is just some rain. There could be a few flakes mixed in some northern locations. A few sprinkles here in the metro area right now. Lighter rain in Carmel over towards the Fishers area up into Noblesville. The heaviest of the rain all morning has been here northwest of Indy. Lafayette, Frankfort, some heavier downpours, and then you go right along 421 as you work your way down into portions of Boone County, eventually the Zionsville area. Some pretty decent rain, and then just some spotty showers, Martinsville, down south in Nashville, over towards Shelbyville and the Greenwood area. And this will all continue to work its way through. The bulk of this precipitation is going to pass to our northwest up towards the Chicago area. We'll just be dealing with these scattered light rain showers for the next couple hours. By this afternoon, we'll start to bring in just cloudy conditions. Here are those temperatures, though, and they are above freezing. A little cooler in Kokomo at 36, 40 in Indianapolis right now. Throughout the day today, lots of clouds. Again, the showers come to an end, but really there's just not a whole lot of warming that'll take place later on this afternoon, as highs will be climbing only into the upper 40s. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you. We're keeping a close eye on traffic this morning as you're heading out the door. This is I-65 up in Whitestown. Boone County drivers, you can see traffic is picking up by all of the headlights out that way. Everything's traveling up to speed. We'll continue to keep you updated. Let's take a look, though, right now. Our live drive is out on the roads. Our photographer, Shay Goodpaster, here in downtown Indianapolis. He's in the driver's seat, and this is a dash cam view as he's traveling on Meridian Street near the circle, and you can see that everything is traveling smoothly. A little bit of wet roads out there from the rain we've been getting this morning, but no problems if you're heading in and out of downtown. Thank you, Shay. Well, plans for a large apartment complex in downtown Indianapolis have been dropped.
Our Kelsey Anderson, she joins us live this morning to explain why this decision comes weeks after outcries from local leaders who are dedicated to preserving history. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Lauren and Rafael. So stopping this downtown development, that's not something that's normally celebrated. But here on Indiana Avenue, organizers are excited that this development has stopped because they say they want to reclaim this area. So Mallory Irvin and Jeff Williams are among the loud voices who pushed back against plans from local development group Buckingham Companies to build a large apartment building with a parking garage and retail space directly between the Indianapolis Urban League office and the Madam Walker Legacy Center. That plan was met with much criticism, mostly through online petitioning from the group Reclaim Indiana Avenue. Now Buckingham Companies has dropped its plans for this project.
It was affirmation that myself and others, our voice matters and our opinion matters when it comes to development in our community.
Now, these organizers say they are not against development on Indiana Avenue. In fact, that's exactly what they want. But they want the project to reflect Indiana's rich Black history and culture, which was birthed along this avenue. Now, in a statement to WRTV, a spokesperson with Buckingham Companies says this is kind of due in part to COVID-19, saying, quote, despite the best intentions of everyone involved, the pursuit of a feasible project was undermined by the impact of a once in a 100 years pandemic that took away the reasonable opportunity to complete the development at this time. We appreciate the efforts and leadership of the Madam Walker Legacy Center and all other stakeholders with an interest in this incredibly important site. Now, both Irvin and Williams say they want to see Indiana Avenue reimagined from its current underdeveloped state, and developers should be aware that this community right here is paying attention. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you. Let's go now to the latest on COVID-19. Indiana has now surpassed 300,000 total cases of the virus since the pandemic began here. The State Department of Health reports 5,606 new cases. That's the first time in 5 days the new cases have been below the 6,000 mark. 27 more Hoosiers have also died with the virus, bringing the state's death toll to 5,067. More than 2 million Hoosiers have been tested for that virus so far. Overall, 14.4% have tested positive.
Lauren, there is a major health concern with the coronavirus and the flu colliding at the same time this season. So today a clinic is taking a shot at making a difference against the flu. Melissa McMasters oversees the immunization programs for the Marion County Health Department.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
How critical is this flu shot this year?
COVID and flu are both circulating, and getting infected with both of those can be a problem because both attack sort of the respiratory system and the immune system. So we don't want to see co-infections this year.
Where's the clinic that you're holding today, and who are you targeting to get those flu shots?
So you would go to 4012 North Rural, and we are seeing people from noon to 4. There's no charge for the vaccine. And we have designed this clinic to be sort of a drive-up clinic. So those individuals with high-risk medical conditions, those with chronic medical conditions, or anyone over age 65 who may be a little bit wary about getting in public during the pandemic, we're offering this for them so they don't even have to get out of their car. They can just drive up and get their vaccine.
So the State Health Department already reported last week our first flu-related death of the year. How concerned are you that people may not take this as serious as they need to?
Well, we're concerned every year because influenza does kill individuals here in Marion County every year. So with all going on with COVID, we hope some of the preventive measures that are in place for COVID help reduce some of the flu that we're going to see this flu season, but we don't know that for sure.
Melissa McMasters with the Marion County Health Department, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. I appreciate being here.
Melissa, thank you. By the way, the health department will use this flu shot drive-through as a model for how they will dispense the COVID-19 vaccine when they get it. Now, again, today, you can drive up, roll up your sleeve, and get a free flu shot. The Marion County Health Department is providing those flu shots from noon until 4 today. The location, 4012 North Rural Street in Indianapolis. The focus is on the most vulnerable among us, which are people 65 and older, but a flu shot can be given to anyone 6 months and older.
It is 6:07 on our Tuesday. Some first responders are getting new resources to help possible COVID patients. Field Resources paramedics in Westfield will have new training to respond to 911 calls for people with coronavirus symptoms. If a patient reports difficulty breathing, cough, fever, chills, fatigue, headache, or lost taste or smell, the team will be deployed to conduct a rapid test. The results take about 15 minutes.
Really, I think the test will do two things. It will reduce spread in the community by identifying people who have the coronavirus. If they're well enough to stay at home and quarantine with some resources we can provide them, that identifies them and will help reduce the spread. And secondly, it will help reduce the strain on the hospital systems that are either near or at capacity.
Westfield officials say this testing is not for people with mild or no COVID symptoms, but remember, anyone who works or lives in Indiana can get tested for free. For more information on that, just go to coronavirus.in.gov. And for more perspective on the COVID crisis in our state, you can watch our WRTV special report tonight. You'll hear from a 30-year-old man who survived a terrifying battle with the virus, plus candid conversations with healthcare workers who are putting their lives on the line to protect all of us. And we have everything you need to know about a potential vaccine. You can watch Inside the COVID Crisis. It airs tonight at 7 o'clock.
So, Lauren, this is also a very critical service. While IPS students are remote learning, through January, the school system is also making sure that they're eating, and so they're providing meals for the next several months. Distribution of those meals begins today from 8 to 10 in the morning and then again from noon to 3. Breakfast and lunch will be served on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 25 drive-through locations throughout the district. There will be no service on Thanksgiving Day. Now, the meals are available to any child under 18, regardless if they attend an IPS school. For a list of times and locations, go to their website, myips.org.
Another organization is helping to make sure that Hoosiers in need do not go hungry. The No Questions Asked Food Pantry is one of many resources available. This grassroots organization is based out of the Church Within. It's in Fountain Square. It provides groceries, hot meals, hygiene, and cleaning supplies to anyone. No identification or proof of address is required.
We are here just to provide. The government has decided not to provide for the people, so we are here to do that. The need during the pandemic has just gone up exponentially. Like the number of people when we first started that we used to serve, that we would serve in like a month, we now serve in like a day.
Well, manager Amber Toombs says that the pantry relies solely on volunteers and donations. For more information, you can go to WRTV.com and click on this story.
An arrest has been made in the murder of Sarah Blackwood. Coming up, what we know about the criminal charges and what's next in this ongoing investigation.
And millions of GM vehicles are being recalled after a dangerous defect in the airbags. Working for you, what you need to know if your car is affected. Todd.
And Lauren, it's a wet morning for many of you as you start off at this Tuesday as we continue to deal with rain showers making way through the area. This is the start of what's going to be a very wet stretch of weather as we lead up to Thanksgiving. We could be dealing with some flooding, not so much today, but also the threat of some thunderstorms as well. We'll break it all down for you coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
It is 6:13 on your Tuesday morning. Thanks for joining our team on Good Morning Indiana. We're keeping a close eye on your commute. This is down on the south side, I-65 and I-465, the interchange there. And you can see traffic is really picking up in all directions. Lots of headlights moving across your screen. And not monitoring any lane restrictions or crashes in the area, so that is good news this morning. So Metro Police have made an arrest in a homicide that raised fears in the transgender community. IMPD announcing a suspect is facing murder and robbery charges in connection to the death of 39-year-old Sarah Blackwood. Friends say Blackwood was walking home from work last month when she was shot and killed on East Washington Street. Investigators have not released a motive in that shooting, but at the time of Blackwood's death, the Human Rights Campaign said it marked at least the 33rd violent death of a transgender or gender non-conforming person in the United States this year. And a suspect in a separate October homicide is also in custody. He faces charges in connection to the death of 19-year-old Michael Williams. Williams was found dead on Longview Lane near Tibbs Avenue between 21st Street and Lafayette Road on the west side. That investigation is ongoing.
The White House is making the first step to acknowledge that President-elect Joe Biden won the election. The General Services Administration sent him a letter Monday saying that the White House is ready to begin the formal transition process. The letter signals that Administrator Emily Murphy formally signed off on Biden's victory. Now, in response, President Trump tweeted that his case continues and that he still believes that he will prevail. The Biden team says the letter is a step needed to start tackling some big issues, including the pandemic and the economy. And Vice President-elect Biden continued making steps in his transition Monday by announcing his foreign policy and national security team on Twitter. He chose Anthony Blinken to be his Secretary of State, Alejandro Mayorkas as Homeland Security Secretary, Avril Haines for Director of National Intelligence, Linda Thomas Greenfield, Ambassador to the United Nations, and Jake Sullivan to be his National Security Advisor, and also John Kerry to be the Special Presidential Envoy on Climate Change. Now, Mayorkas will be the first Latino to head the Department of Homeland Security. Haines would be the first woman to be the Director of National Intelligence, a role that former Indiana Senator Dan Coats once held under the Trump administration.
It is 6:16. Working for you, General Motors is announcing a huge and expensive recall on millions of its trucks and SUVs after losing a 4-year battle with regulators. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration mandated the recall, saying nearly 6 million of those vehicles were equipped with the dangerous Takata airbags. They've been linked to 27 deaths worldwide and are the largest auto recall in history. The impacted vehicles have model years between 2007 and 2014. They include the Cadillac Escalade, Chevrolet Avalanche, Silverado, Suburban, and Tahoe, as well as the GMC Sierra and Yukon. GM is now working on a plan to notify owners. At 6:16, it is Tuesday morning, a couple days before Thanksgiving. Todd, what can we expect in our forecast today?
You know, it's going to be a pretty wet stretch of weather as we lead up to Thanksgiving Day itself, and then Thanksgiving is going to be dry across the area, which is good news. But we're already dealing with some of those showers out there this morning, moving through parts of central Indiana. 40 degrees is the temperature here in Indy. It feels like 34, though, when you factor in the wind. But these temperatures have been holding steady throughout the morning hours, and that is the good news, because we are dealing, as I mentioned, with some precipitation. So anything that is falling is just going to be liquid on the ground. We don't have to worry about any freezing out there, although there are a few snowflakes mixing in some northern locations. But even if you do see a snowflake or two, it is just going to melt as soon as it hits the ground with these temperatures where they are this morning. Here are a couple showers in and around Indianapolis in the 465 loop down towards Greenwood. Some light rain showers as well. Some pockets of moderate rain from Crawfordsville back up towards Lafayette into southern Tippecanoe County, and some heavier showers as well as you continue northward up into Delphi as well as Monticello. And here's that changeover to a little bit of light snow. It's mainly north of our area, but if you are traveling into northern Indiana today, just know that there are a few flakes, but again, most of that should not reach the ground and stick on the ground. It'll just melt away because the temperatures are above freezing, and our temperatures have been well above freezing for the past couple days, so the ground is warm. But this is part of a system that's making its way towards the Chicago area this morning. We'll deal with these rain showers probably through about 8, 9 o'clock this morning, and then they'll start to move off, and we get a bit of a break throughout the afternoon and evening hours today with just lots of clouds that will be around. So as you break down today, because of the cloud cover, there's just not a whole lot of movement as far as the temperatures go. About 43, 44 degrees here as we work our way into the noon hour. With high temperatures today, it'll be topping off only right around 48 degrees. Fast forward now to this evening and then eventually into the overnight hours. So this is 7 p.m. Tonight. We're going to start to ramp the rain chances up after midnight tonight, and that's going to lead to a pretty active day of weather tomorrow with some showers and thunderstorms. We're under the marginal risk for severe weather tomorrow. Damaging wind would be the main threat, and this rain will come in tomorrow morning right around now, and then will continue off and on throughout much of the day tomorrow, although it gets a little bit lighter throughout the afternoon and evening hours tomorrow. The heaviest will be in the morning, but overall it's a pretty wet Wednesday for us all across the area, and rainfall totals are going to generally be between about a half an inch and an inch of rain, so it's a pretty good soaking for us throughout the day tomorrow. Thanksgiving Day itself, though, 54 degrees, mostly cloudy. Then Friday, Saturday look really nice, only for the temperatures really to cool off as we head into Monday, with lows in the 20s and with some precipitation around. We could be talking about some rain and or snow showers. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you. Let's take a look right now at your commute up in Carmel. Good morning to you. This is US 31, a view near Main Street, where traffic is traveling up to speed. No issues to slow you down. So let's take a look at our live drive vehicle. Right now, we're on I-465 heading southbound around the curve near heading towards Beech Grove. You can see traffic there is moving along up to speed. Our photographer Shay Goodpaster in the driver's seat, and this is a dash cam view. We'll continue to check in throughout the morning with our live drive vehicle and see if there are any issues you need to avoid. Raphael.
So, Lauren, 2021 already looking better, and here's why. After being postponed because of the pandemic, Major League Baseball has announced a tentative date for the Field of Dreams game. The game featuring the Chicago White Sox and New York Yankees will mark the first ever Major League game to be played in Iowa. The MLB built a temporary ballpark in Dyersville near the site where the iconic 1990 movie Field of Dreams was filmed. Now, it was originally set to be played this past August 13th, but has now been rescheduled for August 12th of next year. Put that on the calendar.
That's going to be pretty cool, Raphael. Well, Jeopardy has announced its first interim host after the passing of Alex Trebek. The long-running quiz show announced it will continue with a string of guest hosts, and the first will be Ken Jennings. He's well known to Jeopardy fans as the man who won the most consecutive games, 74 of them to be exact. The show's producers have not yet announced which guest hosts will follow Jennings or how many there will be. Episodes hosted by Jennings will begin taping at the end of the month, and they will air in January. Another big item in short supply at the grocery stores, and we're talking about tiny turkeys. What we know about this shortage and some alternatives you can use for your scaled-down Thanksgiving celebration.
And Lauren, they're one of the most open and honest couples on social media. And this morning on GMA, Chrissy Teigen and John Legend are going one-on-one with Michael Strahan. They're sharing their recent heartbreak and their big new initiative to help children and families in need. This ABC News exclusive coming up right here on Good Morning America on WRTV. But first, let's take a look outside on this Tuesday morning. A big good morning to Shelbyville, Speedway, and Southport, all great places to call home right here in central Indiana. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on WRTV.
It is 6:24 on our Tuesday. Raphael, let's chat about what is trending at 6.
Lauren, do we have a censor on this shift? Does someone have like a 10-second mute button in case we say something crazy?
I think.
Do you know?
I think so. Hopefully.
You think so? Because if I were to ask you how to describe 2020, we would come up with a lot of different words that maybe are not appropriate for, this type of morning. But we don't need a censor this morning because there are different ways to describe this past year. How would you sum it up all in one word? Which each year, the Oxford English Dictionary tries to do just that with the word of the year. But they could not pick just one word for 2020. And all the words they did come up with are pretty mild. The company went by months, selecting bushfire for January, and in March started picking up with the coronavirus, of course, words like lockdown and social distancing. Other words included in their words of the year, Black Lives Matter, which is key, and of course, mail-in. But I'm sure that other folks out there would have much more spicier words for 2020.
Yeah, and in 2021, if I never have to hear social distancing ever again, I think we'll all be happy. So fingers crossed.
Yes.
All right, Raphael, well, here's some good news. Today, one of these two turkeys will be pardoned at the White House. Their names are Corn and Cobb. They're from Iowa, hence their names. Corn loves college football and storm chasing. Todd, a friend maybe, some similar interests. Cobb enjoys pickleball and wants to visit the monuments while in Washington, D.C. Well, they both had a red carpet entrance yesterday, and they stayed overnight in a nice hotel. Don't worry, even though the one gets the official pardon, it is usually extended to the second turkey as well. They're going to live a great life. I've stayed in that hotel, and it's really cool, too. They're very fancy.
You do a lot of traveling.
I know.
You're fancy.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's good enough for the turkeys, it's good enough for me.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Listen, so on this Tuesday, whether it's the sunrise or the sunset, we have seen some magnificent views in recent weeks. This beauty of a picture was taken by Ken Vaughn. Take that in. Wow. We thank all of you for sharing the seasonal change throughout central Indiana. It has been a great fall, Todd, as we've seen just some spectacular views right here in our area.
Yep, absolutely. It's not going to be the beautiful sunrise that we've seen many times here this month, Raphael, that have been posting on Twitter and Facebook. And that's because we have the clouds, we have the showers around, but we're above freezing. You see the temperatures there. That is the good news. We're in the 30s and 40s across the area, but you definitely probably want to grab the umbrella if you're going to be out and about here this morning. The day, though, is not a complete washout. As we get into the afternoon hours, it's going to be cloudy, but it's going to be dry. But don't put that umbrella too far away because more rain is in the forecast for tomorrow. In fact, tomorrow we're dealing with widespread and a pretty steady rain moving through, and even a few thunderstorms, Lauren, will be possible across the area. We'll talk more about that coming up in the next half hour.
All right, Todd, thank you. Well, since Thanksgiving will be a smaller event for most families this year, people want to buy smaller turkeys. Well, now the tiny birds are pretty hard to find. So consumer reporter John Matarese shows us some alternatives that you can use so you don't waste your money.
If you still need to buy your Thanksgiving turkey, well, you may have a tough time finding a small one, the latest thing in short supply this pandemic year. Tiny turkeys, 8 to 14 pounds, are in high demand this year because of all the people cooking dinner for just 1, 2, or 3 people during this pandemic. And they've become the hardest to find Thanksgiving dinner item. Shoppers report store freezers empty of tiny turkeys, but with surpluses of 20-pound birds that very few people want this year. Also in short supply, turkey breasts with no legs or wings on them. A Texas A&M survey finds prices per pound much higher this year as a result due to the high demand. If you can't find a small turkey for your small dinner, well, buy a large one. It may actually be cheaper, and save the rest for sandwiches, soup, and pets. Some frustrated shoppers are turning to Cornish hens or large chickens, which could work in a pinch this crazy year. As always, don't waste your money. I'm John Matteries. Good morning, Indiana.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Tuesday morning, this is your 6:30 news feed. Indianapolis honored a fallen firefighter. Services were held Monday for Fire Department engineer Matthew Bennett. Bennett died November the 14th, the day after suffering chest pains while responding to a fire call. He was honored with a procession and before being laid to rest at Crown Hill's Heroes of Public Safety section.
The Hamilton County Health Department has approved new COVID-19 restrictions on crowds that take effect tomorrow. The county says no social gatherings or sports events. Crowds of more than 250 people will be allowed. Right now, Hamilton County is in the state's orange category for community spread. If the county moves into the highest red category, that crowd size will be limited to just 100 people.
The Indianapolis Colts scored a big win off the field, helping to make sure that dozens of Hoosier families have a great Thanksgiving meal. This was the 9th year that the Colts have hosted horseshoe helpings. But of course, there were changes this year because of the pandemic. Colts players and cheerleaders and dozens of socially distanced volunteers helped hand out Thanksgiving staples like turkeys and pumpkin pies outside of Lucas Oil Stadium. It is the season for pumpkin pie, apple pie, pecan pie. However you slice it, we hope that you have a great Thanksgiving holiday week with us here on Good Morning Indiana. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Raphael. And we are getting some bad weather out of the way before the holiday, Todd. So tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, you know, leading up to Thanksgiving Day, it's going to be pretty wet today and especially tomorrow. But Thanksgiving Day itself is going to be pretty nice. So after you eat with the family, if you're hosting, you can send everybody outside and maybe enjoy some social distancing outside with a fire and maybe just throw the football around. That's what we always used to do with my cousins back on Thanksgiving after dinner. As far as the rain this morning, it's pretty spotty in nature. There's a little shower here on the north side of Marion County, another one down to the south as we slide to the north. Pocket of heavier rain in Tipton as well as Anderson, just south of Burlington over towards the Frankfort area, pocket of moderate rain, and then the same as you work your way just south of Lafayette. And within some of those pockets of moderate rain, don't be shocked maybe if you see a snowflake or two, but as soon as it hits the ground, it's going to melt away. And then to the south here, there's been a few sprinkles, but really not a whole lot in the way of rainfall throughout the course of this morning. The bulk of the heavier precipitation will pass off to our northwest. You do not have to worry about that. Temperatures today stay above freezing. That's the good news with some of this moisture moving through this morning. We're in the 30s and 40s. Most of the rain showers today will come to an end by about 10 o'clock, and then just lots of clouds the rest of the day with temperatures in the mid 40s. But by about this time tomorrow, we're going to be dealing with some heavier rain moving in, and Wednesday is pretty much going to be a washout for us. More on that coming up in just a few minutes. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you. Let's take a look right now at traffic as you're heading out on the roads. This is I-465 near West 38th Street. You can see traffic there is moving along up to speed. No delays to slow you down. So let's take a look right now from our live drive vehicle. Our photographer Shay Goodpaster is on northbound I-465 right now, traveling around the southwest side of town. You can see the windshield wipers are working in that area as some rain showers are coming down, but traffic is moving along up to speed. We'll continue to check in with live drive and our traffic cameras all around central Indiana. We'll keep you updated on any issues. Raphael?
So, Lauren, let's begin with a consumer alert talking about Hoosier dollars. Scammers are stealing Hoosier identities to claim unemployment benefits, and you may not even be aware of this. That's happening to you until it is simply too late. The state attorney general's office says that since January, they've seen a major increase in this type of fraud. The office also says that payments are often already deposited into the scammers' accounts by the time you learn of this problem. The state says scammers are targeting the identities of people they know are too busy working during the pandemic, such as healthcare workers. If you think your info may have been stolen like this, you should contact the Attorney General's office.
Well, we've told you about concerns doctors have about a double whammy of the flu and COVID-19. And so later today, the Marion County Public Health Department will hold a special flu shot clinic to reach high risk and older residents. This is a drive-up clinic. It's this afternoon from noon until 4 at the health department's community building. That's located at 4012 North Rural Street. The no-cost clinic is designed for people with chronic medical conditions and those over the age of 65 who may not be able to get out in public to get a flu shot during the pandemic. You will stay in your vehicle to get the vaccine.
As we know, this continues to really be a tough time for many of you, especially if you can't connect with your families the way that you're accustomed to doing so. And so we're working for you here at WRTV to provide you with some resources that you may want to be able to use or maybe want to share with your friends and family. For example, dialing 211 connects you with resources right here in our community. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is there if you need someone to talk to, even anonymously. Same for the crisis text line to key services. Also, WRTV.com/ReboundIndiana has a number of stories of Hoosiers sharing how they're coping and managing to get through this pandemic.
Well, it's a major milestone for an organization dedicated to feeding Hoosiers, and they reached it well before they thought they would. Second Helpings just provided its 15 millionth meal to the community. The nonprofit has been providing meals to families for more than 20 years, and they often give meals through the community centers like this one here in Flesher Place. Leaders say that this need leveled off a little bit over the summer months, but it is climbing again, and there's no sign of slowing down.
Many of those folks have never had to needed help, never had to go to a food pantry, never had to ask for assistance, and yet they have to look at their kids each day and make sure those kids are fed.
Second Helpings is on track to serve 1 million meals this year alone.
Laura, development has changed the character of a historic part of downtown, but the people who live there have been pushing back. Coming up, how they say their efforts to reclaim their neighborhood are now paying off. This story coming up right here on Good Morning Indiana. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It appears to be the end of the road for a multi-million-dollar project, but it wasn't an ordinary development. It would have been the latest to change the character of a legendary part of downtown, Lauren.
And our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning with more on why a new apartment complex will not be rising above this historic neighborhood. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Raphael and Lauren. So stopping downtown development isn't something that's normally celebrated, but here on Indiana Avenue, grassroots organizers are celebrating because they say they want to reclaim this area. Mallory Irvin and Jeff Williams are among the loud voices who pushed back against plans from local development group Buckingham Companies to build a large apartment building with a parking garage and retail space directly between the Indianapolis Urban League office and the Madam Walker Legacy Center. That plan was met with much criticism, mostly through online petitioning from the group Reclaim Indiana Avenue. Now Buckingham Companies has dropped its plans for the project.
We want when people come through here on the cultural trail or to visit Indiana Avenue for them to feel the spirit of the Black community here. It's working well in cities like DC, Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas, and Houston, and we feel like Indianapolis deserves to have that as well.
Now, these organizers say they are not against development on Indiana Avenue. In fact, that's exactly what they want. But they want the projects to reflect Indiana's rich Black history and culture, which was birthed along the avenue. Now, in a statement to WRTV, a spokesperson for Buckingham Companies says in part that this is because of COVID-19, saying, quote, "Despite the best intentions of everyone involved, the pursuit of a feasible project was undermined by the impact of a once-in-a-hundred-years pandemic that took away the reasonable opportunity to complete the development at this time. We appreciate the efforts and leadership of the Madam Walker Legacy Center and all of the stakeholders with an interest in this incredibly important site." Now, both Irvin and Williams say they want to see Indiana Avenue reimagined from its current underdeveloped state, and developers should be aware that community organizations, they are paying attention to what's going in along Indiana Avenue. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you. A northern Indiana school is at the center of an ACLU lawsuit, and here are the details this morning. A student at Manchester Junior-Senior High School is suing the school after he was told that he could not wear a T-shirt. The shirt read, quote, "I hope I don't get killed for being black today," end quote. The ACLU lawsuit says the student's First Amendment rights are being violated. The student was sent home after refusing to change that shirt. According to the ACLU, the student's shirt did not violate the school's student handbook. You can read more on this developing story by downloading the WRTV News app right now.
Well, COVID-19 tests can be quite uncomfortable. Next, one company's solution that they say will make testing easier and getting results faster.
So it's a different type of Thanksgiving tradition and how strangers are now adopting families this year. Their efforts coming up. But first, let's check your forecast with our own Todd Clausen. Good morning, TK.
Raphael, good morning to you. We're dealing with some rain across parts of the area. In northern Indiana, a little bit of snow mixing in, and we'll deal with these rain showers throughout a good chunk of the first half of the day. This morning, you probably want to have the umbrella handy if you're going to be out and about. But by this afternoon, we're just going to be dealing with cloudy skies. So the day is not a washout. That's for today. Tomorrow is a whole different story. More on that coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
Welcome back. We turn to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic and its impact on our state. This morning, state health officials report 5,600 new coronavirus cases. It's the first time in nearly a week we've dropped to less than 6,000 new cases in a single day. Health officials also say 27 more Hoosiers have died with the virus. That's also the lowest single-day report in a week. Since the pandemic began, nearly 5,100 Hoosiers have died with COVID-19. State leaders also updated the state's school dashboard on Monday. Over the past week, Indiana's schools have reported more than 2,200 new student cases and nearly 1,100 new teacher and staff cases. As of this morning, nearly 400 Indiana schools are still not reporting their coronavirus cases to the State Department of Health. And only on WRTV, Raphael, there's growing frustration among Hoosiers over how long we'll have to wait to get results of a COVID-19 test.
So working for you this morning, one Indianapolis company is making key changes to make it easier for you to get a test and to get those results on time. It's a familiar scene throughout central Indiana. People drive up and get a nasal COVID-19 test, as some find uncomfortable. Now, one company is offering an option at their drive-up sites involving mouthwash and spitting into a cup.
Can you walk me through what someone would experience in their vehicle if they come to get this mouthwash test?
We will provide them with this tube that has a little bit of this mouthwash in it. So they will uncap it and swish around the mouthwash for about 45 seconds. They will then spit the mouthwash and the saliva back into the tube and then hand it back to the medical staff. And that's it. It takes a little bit longer, a few seconds longer than the nasal swab, but definitely less invasive.
Indy-based ARIA Diagnostics is the only one providing this type of test at its central Indiana locations. The company has seen an uptick in testing since government warnings, asking people to limit their numbers during this holiday Thanksgiving weekend.
Does this test have the emergency authorization that the FDA has approved to other entities to allow for this testing to occur?
It does. So this test is utilizing the same technology that the FDA and the CDC authorized under the emergency use authorization.
So I have more details for you this morning. You need to get a doctor's note if you want insurance to pay for the test, whether it's the mouthwash or the nasal swab. To find more information, you just need to call the number there on your screen, 317-623-4003. The test costs $135 if you're paying out of pocket, and you'll get your results within 48 hours. Lauren?
Raphael, tonight WRTV presents our news special that will dive into the COVID-19 crisis here in the state of Indiana. You're going to hear from experts when you may be able to get one of those COVID-19 vaccines. Plus, we're talking to frontline healthcare workers who are putting their lives on the line to protect all of us. Don't forget to set your DVR for WRTV news special Inside the COVID Crisis. It's tonight at 7 o'clock only here on WRTV.
So you have to hear about this company. A local catering company here in Indianapolis is connecting people who want to help feed families in need this Thanksgiving. Indy-based Nameless Catering took to social media and found that there was an appetite among people looking to buy a turkey meal that could feed up to 4 people. Now, each meal costs $25 and people can still adopt a family on the Nameless Catering Facebook page. Today at 5 p.m., people who need a meal can sign up on that same page to get their food.
A lot of people want to help, like maybe they want to help do something, but they're not really sure what, and they don't really want to go volunteer like a soup kitchen or something like that because, you know, they want to be around a lot of people. So how can you help and, you know, and still do something, but maybe, you know, not around everybody else. So, you know, we just fired this idea up. I mean, the thing is that pandemic or not, I mean, every holiday season, there's people that need help, right? I mean, and so I'm not wholly opposed to doing this again for Christmas.
So sign up today by 5, right? And then each person who signs up will get an email with instructions on where to pick up their meal. It will be a drive-through pickup, of course, because of social distancing. Now, to get your meal, you must show your email to receive the food from Nameless Catering. So don't forget the email with those instructions. And Todd, the owner, Jeremy Brown, called me yesterday, said, look, I had an idea, and it goes to show that the power of one can make a difference if you're doing something good. So congratulations to them, and how's your forecast on this Tuesday?
All that good news, and then you come to me, Raphael, and unfortunately,
sorry.
I don't have the best news going forward, but Thanksgiving Day itself is going to be dry and above normal temperature-wise. This morning, though, we do have some rain in the forecast, and this is just the start of what's going to be a pretty wet period of weather for the next 36 to 48 hours, although today there will be a lot of dry hours mixed in. The wetter day is definitely going to be tomorrow. Some spotty showers here at Greenfield to Carmel up towards the Fishers area. Slide a little further to the north. Some pockets of moderate rainfall here from Tipton to Kokomo. Lighter rain from Muncie down into portions of Delaware County and then eventually into northern parts of Madison County as well. Back off to our west, light rain Monticello, Delphi, Lafayette into the Frankfort area. To the south, you've had a few spotty showers, but not a whole lot in the way of rainfall here throughout the course of the morning hours. But there's still a little bit more to come. The center of low pressure is off to our northwest, and that's going to pass up here towards Green Bay. So we're just kind of on the leading edge of some of this precipitation as it's coming through the area. And temperatures are above freezing. In fact, they've come up a couple degrees in some locations. So that's good news. You don't have to worry about any freezing on the roadways. Although a couple of you in northern locations, don't be shocked maybe if you see a snowflake or two mixing in with the rain this morning. But all this rainfall for everybody comes to an end by the noon hour. And then the rest of today is just going to be cloudy across the area. It's not a bright day, but at least the afternoon hours today will be dry for everybody. With the clouds, though, we're just not really going to warm a whole lot. We're going to hover right around 40 degrees here this morning, and then once the showers come to an end, you'll see the temperatures bounce into the upper 40s for your afternoon highs. Now, tomorrow, it's going to be a wet day for us from start to finish. In fact, as you see, some thunderstorms will be a possibility as well, but it's a mild day with temperatures that'll be in the mid to upper 50s, and parts of the area, including Indianapolis down to Bloomington, Columbus, Seymour, Bedford, and really all of southern Indiana under the marginal risk for severe weather tomorrow. And that's because some storms are going to roll in here potentially as we head into the morning commute tomorrow with some heavier rain. So this time tomorrow, make sure you tune in here on Good Morning Indiana as some of this rain will be making its way through the area with a few thunderstorms as well. And then you definitely just have to have the rain gear handy throughout the day tomorrow as it's going to be a very wet day. The morning's probably a little wetter than the afternoon hours, but this afternoon, in the afternoon hours tomorrow, we're still dealing with some scattered showers around, and they really don't roll out of here until very late Wednesday. And we're talking about the potential of about a ½ an inch to an inch of rain tomorrow. So that's a pretty good soaking for us. Thanksgiving Day itself on Thursday, 54 degrees with mostly cloudy skies, and Friday and Saturday looking really nice above normal and plenty of sunshine. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you. Let's take a look at our traffic right now. This is a live look on I-70 heading westbound right now near Emerson and Keystone Avenue. This is over on the east side of town to look at your commute. Maybe as you're heading towards the downtown area for work this morning, you shouldn't have any problems right here on the east side. As you can see from Live Drive, everything is traveling up to speed. And as we take a look around the metro area, overall traffic is traveling smoothly on your interstates. That's great news at this hour. We're back with your top stories just after the break. It is 6:55 here on Good Morning Indiana. Thanks for joining us. Todd Clausen is standing by with a check of your Tuesday forecast. But first, Raphael, let's take a look at those top stories.
Let's begin with Metro Police have made an arrest in a homicide that raised fears in the transgender community. A suspect now faces murder and robbery charges in the death of 39-year-old Sarah Blackwood. Friends say that Blackwood was walking home from work last month when she was shot and killed on East Washington Street.
IPS is making sure students are fed during this remote learning period. Meal distribution begins today from 8 to 10 and then again from noon to 3. No meals will be provided on Thanksgiving. The meals are available to any child under the age of 18, regardless of whether or not they attend an IPS school.
When the Butler Bulldogs open their season tomorrow, there'll be fewer fans inside of Hinkle Fieldhouse. Butler now says 1,500 fans instead of 2,200 fans will be able to watch the Bulldogs play in person. The university says the change was voluntary.
And we do want to get a look at that forecast right now. It's been a rainy morning. Todd, what can people expect today?
Yeah, you know, we'll continue to see these showers for the next few hours, at least for this morning. And then the rest of the day is going to be pretty dry. But we're above freezing. That's the good news. Don't be shocked, though, if you do see a few snowflakes mixed in with some of this rain as it makes its way through the area. But with temperatures above freezing, snow is just going to melt if you even see it at all as it hits the roadway. Tomorrow is going to most likely be a Storm Team 6 alert day, as we'll deal with periods of rain. Could be heavy. A few thunderstorms possible as well. Thanksgiving Day is dry at 54 degrees. Then Friday and Saturday are looking pretty nice, mid-50s with sunshine. And then we get a push of colder air next week. Sunday into Monday is when that cold air comes in. Monday morning, you see temperatures are down into the 20s, high of only 39. And Monday, we could once again be dealing with some rain and or snow showers moving through the area.
All right, Todd, thank you. And thank you for joining us. We're back here in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America with local news, weather, and traffic updates. All your news can be found throughout the day on the WRTV mobile app. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday. We hope you have a great day.